Welcome to NYNJPA Weather, your weather source for the Northern Mid-Atlantic. I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. Well, I've been warning for several weeks that although it got pretty warm last week, that winter is not over yet, and as we could see this morning, many locations in the Northern Mid-Atlantic have snow on the ground. Now, this snow will not last long, but it is a reminder that winter is still going to be a threat, at least through early March. As the pattern begins to shift from a winter pattern to a spring pattern. Now for the rest of this morning, our first batch of snow and rain is exiting into the Atlantic, but we have a second batch that's currently developing over western and central Pennsylvania as of 9 a.m. And this batch of snow and rain will move through the New York City and Philadelphia metropolitan area. For the most part, this batch of precipitation will be weakening as it's moving east, so I don't expect snowfall accumulations to be as impressive as what we saw earlier on this morning. For one, our temperatures are warming up to close to freezing to above freezing over southern and central New Jersey and much of the Philadelphia metropolitan area, and it will be pretty close to freezing over the northern interior. So this snowfall is going to have a little bit harder time accumulating. So I really don't expect much in the way of additional accumulation to what has already fallen. After this disturbance moves through, looks like we have another storm on the way. This is the surface map as of 9 a.m. this morning, and you can see that our first batch of precipitation was supported by a wave of low pressure that is currently moving through the Baltimore and Washington, D.C. metropolitan areas. And we have our second area of low pressure is just to the south of the central Great Lakes, basically moving over Illinois and Indiana. And this low pressure system will move towards the Virginia coast later on tonight into tomorrow morning. Now, this low pressure system will not produce the same amount of snow over the northern Atlantic as what we saw this morning. And let me show you why. This is the 500 millibar pattern as of 9 a.m. this morning, and what I want you to focus on is the area that I have circled in yellow. That's our new upper level low that is moving from central Quebec and will eventually move towards northern Maine by tomorrow morning. Why is this feature important? Well, when you're forecasting for any type of precipitation event, you need to know where the upper level low is with this particular storm, with any storm for that matter. And when you are on the back side of an upper level low, that's an area of convergence. That's where air is coming in together in the upper levels, and as a result, that air sinks towards the surface. And sinking air is the exact opposite of what you want when you're looking for any type of precipitation. You want air to be rising. So what we have in place here by tomorrow morning is our southeast ridge is still in place. That means that winds are coming in from the southwest around this upper level ridge, and we have our upper level low moving towards Maine with air coming in from the northwest. Well, if air is coming in from the southwest and the northwest, that means air is converging over the northern Mid-Atlantic, and that means air is sinking over the New York City metropolitan area and also the Philadelphia metropolitan area. So what that basically means is that our area low pressure is developing over the upper Midwest this morning with a pretty healthy precipitation shield is going to become crushed as it moves towards the Mid-Atlantic coast. So as a result, that snow that's developing over the upper Midwest will become compressed, and the majority of snow is going to be to the south of New York City with some light to moderate snow for Philadelphia. But even as that snow shield moves through the Philadelphia metro and the southern half of New Jersey, that snow shield will be weakening and collapsing. So this does not look like a significant snow event whatsoever. Let's take a look at our forecast. So what I'm basically expecting for tomorrow morning is around 3 to 6 inches of snow for locations to the south of Philadelphia. That includes portions of Lancaster down through Atlantic City and Cape May, New Jersey. These locations with this snow event most likely will see around 3 to 4 inches of snow. However, I can't rule out a moderate burst of snow that could push a few isolated locations up to 6 inches, but I stress the isolated point here. Now for Philadelphia and Allentown and portions of central New Jersey, basically much of Monmouth and Ocean counties and Trenton, which includes Mercer County of course, looking anywhere from 1 to 3 inches of snow. Most locations will be around 1 to 2 inches for the most part, but you could see a a little heavy burst towards 3 inches in some locations, but really this is not a major event. In fact, by the rush hour tomorrow, much of the snow is going to be melting on the roadways. So I really don't see this being a major impact, but the roads are going to be a little slick tomorrow morning because of the snow. Now, locations further north over much of northeastern Pennsylvania, much of northern New Jersey, including the New York City metropolitan area and Long Island, you'll see a few snow showers, maybe some flurries. You could see a trace to an inch of snow. Because temperatures are going to be colder this time in the 20s, there won't be much of a trouble with accumulation, especially on colder surfaces. But again, the majority of the moisture will be to the south, so any steady snow will remain to the south of the New York City metropolitan area. And then, of course, further north, little to no impacts, maybe a flurry, if that. So again, this storm does not look like a major impact whatsoever. In fact, even in areas where moderate snow will fall, I would not be surprised if there is a difficult time of the snow actually accumulating on the roadways after temperatures today get into the 40s. After the low pressure system on Tuesday, high pressure is going to be in control all the way through the rest of the week. Now, this is by Thursday night. Our high pressure system is off the East Coast, which means we are in a southerly flow. We're going to warm up rather nicely once again at temperatures in the 40s, 50s, possibly a few 60s by Thursday afternoon and Friday afternoon. And notice we have an area low pressure that is over the southern plains heading towards the central Mississippi River Valley. This low pressure system, I believe, is going to move towards the Ohio Valley and then trek towards the mid-Hudson Valley towards New England. I do not believe that this low pressure is going to be tracking east of the northern mid-Atlantic. In fact, I think it's going to be well to the west. And the reason why can be found at 500 millibars. So here's the 500 millibar forecast on the European model guidance from Penn State EWAL. Now, I know there are some models that produce a little bit of snow, even a moderate to heavy snowfall, over parts of northeastern Pennsylvania and the Hudson Valley and even northwestern New Jersey. The reason why I'm skeptical of this outcome is because of the pattern that's in place. What we have in place here is what's called a positive NAO pattern, which means that there's no blocking in the North Atlantic, and in fact, we have a ridge developing over the southeast and a deep trough over the west. Now, our main storm is over the plains, as you can see that red blob that's over parts of Missouri, Kansas, and Oklahoma. That disturbance is going to move towards the Ohio Valley, and it's going to interact with this strong disturbance that's over central Canada. That all points to the strongest lifting being focused towards the eastern Great Lakes and towards New England. That means the low pressure track is likely to be west of the northern mid-Atlantic, which means that we're going to pretty much see rain out of this. Now, as the low pressure system moves northeast and colder air rushes back into the region, yes, some of that rain could change over to snow for a short time, but I never like to forecast a moderate to heavy snowfall with cold, dry air rushing into the region. So yes, there could be a little bit of light snow on the back end of this low pressure system as it's racing to the northeast, but I do not expect much of an accumulation out of this event as of this time. Basically, what we'd have to see is a complete change of the 500 millibar pattern in order to produce a snowier outcome. But what we can expect with this type of low pressure system track is very warm conditions on Friday afternoon ahead of this low pressure system, and yes, even a potential for some thunderstorms as this strong cold front drives through the northern mid-Atlantic on Friday. And then once again, Saturday and Sunday, we get seasonably cool, a little windy, and another threat for some rain or snow on Monday. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? We're going to be in this type of pattern for at least until early March, until the pattern completely breaks and we head into a spring-like pattern with a zonal jet stream, which is going to be very nice for mid and late March. Thank you for trusting in NYNJPA Weather as your weather source for the northern mid-Atlantic. I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. Have a great day.